Hello, Room 12 gardeners. You will be amazed at how much your radish plants have grown. But first, I'm going to show you a couple of other things. First of all, I told you that we would fertilize the plants today. But I said we would fertilize them as soon as the true leaves came out on the plants, and they came out on Tuesday, so I had to fertilize then. But I'll show you what I did. This is the fertilizer I used, all-purpose plant food, and I'm going to mix it with water. I have 2 cups of water in here. I'm going to get a 1/8, it's not very much, 1/8 of a teaspoon of fertilizer and mix it in with my water. I'll stir it around. And I fertilized every single plant because it gives food to the plant and helps it to grow bigger and healthier. These plants I don't need fertilizer yet, but I'm going to be pulling them up, so it doesn't matter. This is just to show you. Okay, I fertilized 2 plants with the all-purpose plant food here. And now I'm going to show you a couple of things before we look at each radish plant. I just want to remind you what these tiny, tiny seeds look like. A whole plant comes out of this seed. It's so amazing. And I've told you about the seed leaves. Well, the seed leaves are the first part of the plant that comes up above the ground. And this is Mrs. Brown's radish plant. I don't know why it didn't grow as big as some of the others, but it's all an experiment. You never know in gardening how things are going to turn out. In this pot, since it wasn't doing very well, I planted a tiny, tiny little seed there just a few days ago to see what would happen. And I'm going to pull it up so you can see how the plant starts. This is how it starts. You can't even see a root on there yet. This little part here is the root. Here's the tiny, tiny seed leaves that are first coming out. And I did the same thing on Mrs. Lyons because hers didn't grow as well as the others either. So I'm taking out the plant, this tiny plant, and maybe you can see it's curling around there, the root. These are the seed leaves just coming out. They have food for the plant. They give it its first food. And now I'm going to pull up, this one didn't do very well, and we don't need it for anything. I see, if I pull this out, we'll see what happens, how the root is growing. Here it is, here's the root. See, I'm going to take the soil off of it as much as I can. This is what happens at first in the down under the soil. The root is growing down that way, but you know a radish is a root, the part we eat, and it sure doesn't look like that. Just for fun, about a month ago, I planted all these radish seeds in this little paper cup, and I'm going to pull them up. We'll see what happens if you have too many radishes growing in 1 cup. Well, I guess I'm going to have to, see, I told you that the roots get all mixed together and you can't separate the plants if you wait too long. Well, here they are. I'm going to try to separate these and see what happens. Here's one. Let's see if it has any radish on it at all. This is a month of growing, 4 weeks of growing, and we'll see what happens. These were so close together. Well, there, I guess you could call that the beginnings of a radish, but can't see much. Here is that radish plant that I planted first. I planted it before I planted the other ones, and I planted it 27 days ago. 28 days would be 4 weeks. And it's getting nice and big, but I think it could get a lot bigger than this. Here are the seed leaves still on here. I don't think they're doing much good anymore, but those were the first leaves they started out inside the seed. And we'll let this keep growing and pull it up in a couple more weeks. Okay, now I'm ready to show everybody your plant. So remember that the true leaves are the ones that the sun comes down and the leaves absorb the sunlight and they suck up the water from the roots, and the water and all of the nutrients, the minerals and vitamins in the plant, in the water, come up into the leaf, and the water and the sunlight mixed together and create food for the plant. Okay, Casper. Just going to show them each to you. Amelia. Look for your seed leaves. Kelly. Look at the seed leaves. Taylor. Francesca. Jacob. Gianna. Ewan. Victoria. Mrs. Brown. I think I already said Victoria, but here's your plant again, Victoria. Mrs. Lyon. Phoebe. See how each plant looks different? I don't know why. Some are bigger, some are smaller. I don't know why. Cameron. It's all an experiment. Mark. Jackson. Quinn. Finley. Look at these big seed leaves. Did you notice that seed leaves look like hearts? All right, I'm going to have to go around this way to get to the rest of these. Isaiah. Aaron. Kelly. Jesse. Riley. Daxton. And Zoe. I hope I didn't forget anybody. Let me know if I did. So next week, these plants should be a lot bigger. See you next time. Bye-bye.